Last week, it was announced that a Colorado woman was arrested after flashing a gun at an off-duty U.S. Marshal while driving down the highway in Colorado. Now, that may not seem like a big deal, right? Why are we spending time talking about this story? Well, because this woman by the name of Khanda Khalif actually was a former Republican candidate in the state of Colorado. She also happens to sit on the 4th Judicial District Commission that evaluates judges in the state of Colorado. She's also, according to the Denver Post, an adamant Trump supporter, and she is a gun rights activist. This is a Republican woman who actually holds quite a bit of sway in the state of Colorado. So here is what she allegedly did. She's driving on the interstate, right, down the highway, passes a construction zone, and you have this U.S. Marshal out there who's off duty, but they're with the construction workers, and he kind of signals for her to slow down because she was doing 90 miles an hour, which is also illegal. And so, not wanting anyone to tell her what to do, she pulls out a gun and just flashes it at him. The marshal says she did not point it at him, but she wanted him to know that she is packing and ain't nobody gonna tell her what to do. So not far down the road, because the U.S. Marshal said he felt threatened, he calls it in. Trooper pulls up behind her, watch her doing 90, changing lanes in and out, driving erratically, pulls her over finally. He has his gun, according to the report, unholstered, which means this dude knows that stuff's about to go down. Luckily, no shots were fired. This woman was arrested for threatening a federal officer. And now she's going to face trial for this, which could not only result in her going to prison and paying a massive fine. I mean, the speeding through a construction site alone is a pretty hefty fine that she's going to have to pay. Of course, if she did it. But here's the thing. This is the fun part. You know, being a huge gun rights activist, and she did have a concealed carry permit, she could actually, under Colorado law, be banned from ever owning firearms again if convicted of this crime. And that's really just the icing on the cake. But even still, you might be asking yourself, why are we even wasting our time talking about this story? Because this woman, Miss Khalif, or however the hell you say her last name, honestly, I don't care. She represents everything that's wrong with United States gun culture. It's not about protection. It's about threatening. And that's the difference. That is not what the Second Amendment was written for, right? The Second Amendment, according to court interpretations, is so that people can protect themselves. Protect your home, protect your family, whatever. Not to go out there and actively threaten people who are trying to, in this Marshal's case, enforce the law. And you pull it out and say, look what I got. What are you going to do? Yeah, that's illegal. That's an irresponsible gun owner. And it's people like that that shouldn't be owning guns in the first place. If your first reaction when somebody tells you something is to brandish a firearm, then congratulations, you shouldn't own a firearm. Now, me personally, if every gun on the planet disappeared tomorrow, I would be happy. I am totally okay with that. It doesn't bother me one bit. But I understand we have laws I may not agree with. And responsible gun owners, people who keep them locked up to where their children can't get them, a thief can't get them, and they're not out there carrying it around while shopping at Walmart, I guess that's okay for now. But we have seen too many stories of these idiots, people like this Miss Khalif, who go out there armed to the teeth to buy a gallon of milk. What the hell are you people so afraid of? What do you think's going to happen during your trip to Costco? This is psychotic behavior, and these are psychotic individuals. They're not mentally well. And yet we're allowing them to carry around a piece of metal that's basically point and click, and a human life is gone. when you look at it that way, don't you think maybe, just maybe, we ought to reevaluate the background check process? Maybe take a little bit more time to look into what kind of creeps are getting their hands on these weapons so that they don't go out there and brandish them to threaten a police officer while doing 90 miles an hour through a construction zone. If this woman hadn't been white, I can almost guarantee you she wouldn't be alive today. I mean, sorry, but that's the way it works in this country. But a white woman already breaking the law, then flashing a pistol? Nah, she got taken quietly, got out on bail, did her little court appearance, and now is awaiting a trial. But had she been any other ethnicity, she'd already be 6 feet under the ground. Thanks for watching, everybody. And don't forget, if you like what you see here, like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. And now you can also become a member of Ring of Fire and get exclusive early access to certain Ring of Fire videos all throughout the week. Just click on the little join button right below the video.